Welcome to Forensic Friday,
where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. Hello, friend.
Hi.
And forensic friends. Hello.
I think I have an update. Damn it. Hold on.
I had one too.
So, you know that humongous fire that happened in Denver?
Yes.
There's been a man arrested for it.
What? Was it arson?
I think so.
That was huge. There was a big one in Colorado Springs the other day too. I was worried it was a wildfire, but it ended up being a building. But I don't know if it was arson or not, but it was massive.
Yeah. So this says Denver fire today announced the arrest of Tony Becerra, Becerra. Don't come at me if I pronounce it wrong, people. Becerra. Born the same year I was born. We don't look the same age.
He's done some hard living. Mr. Becerra, allegedly. Allegedly. Oh, that's some hard living. Okay, but
we don't look the same age.
Does he have a criminal history?
Nickname Psycho.
Yep, it sure does. There it is. What's his history? Gang affiliation. Who nicknamed him Psycho?
I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna find out.
Okay, yeah, 100% has a rap sheet. Okay, so 2 juvenile assaults.
Okay.
I don't know what this is. Denver Reception and Diagnostic Center. It's highlighted. Oh, that was where he went. Okay.
Yeah. They send juveniles there sometimes.
Got it. Obstructing justice. Yep. Intimidating a witness. Felony. Assault.
So gangy.
Yeah. Assault, felony, menacing.
Yep. With a weapon.
Doesn't say that yet.
Okay.
Assault, menacing. Assault, second degree, non-family, strong arm, domestic violence.
There we go.
Assault in the second, cause serious bodily injury, felony.
Yeah.
Assault, reckless cause injury, misdemeanor. Child abuse, misdemeanor.
Mm-hmm.
No injury. So child abuse, knowingly, reckless, no injury, misdemeanor.
Weapon or drugs?
No, it says public order crimes, violent crime cause death / SBI sentence enhancer.
How in the world was he out?
Dude, I don't know. Public order crimes, habitual criminal sentence enhancer. Duh, he's a habitual offender. Habitual offender, assault, bodily injury, felony. This is page 6 of 11.
He was arrested 10 times between 2001 and 2020.
Yeah. Traffic offense. Weapon.
I knew there'd be a weapon. Where's the drugs, though? I'm waiting for the drugs.
It's weapon offense. Yeah, it doesn't say drugs yet.
I'm sure it's coming.
I can never say this word. Vehicular. Vehicular. Eluding. Felony.
Oh, goodness.
Weapon. Second weapon.
Great.
Aggravated assault.
Great. This all tracks.
Yeah, no, this dude has a rap sheet. Okay, but it doesn't say much about what he did to start the fire. I don't see anything on that right now.
Dude looks 100 years old, first of all. It looks like he crawled out of the ground and decided to commit a crime.
I hate laughing right now because I have that raspy. I have that raspy laugh because I've been so sick.
You've been so sick. He goes by Psycho and XX. Okay.
Yep.
He did 4 years DOC, Department of Corrections, in 2011 for one of the felony assaults.
Yeah.
Now, here's the crazy thing. I'm looking at the footage. Okay. They have a clip of him leaving the site. And the last thing that they saw when he like looked at the camera, he walked into a Taste of India restaurant, went to the bathroom for several minutes. He then walked out wearing a white shirt and carrying a black item under his left arm. And he's smiling. He's smirking in the
Send me this.
surveillance photos. I'm sending you right now from the Gazette.
But he does look 100 years old.
No, he looks 100 years old. He crawled out of the ground. I mean, this was a 5-6 alarm fire, which I should bring. We need to pick an arson case, and I'll have my cousin on, who's a chief in Indianapolis. He's amazing. He's like a special ops fire guy. Like he's the best. But a 5-6 alarm fire, it was the biggest fire that the fire division chief of operations had seen in 30 years with that department. So he caused a massive fire. So basically, they got this surveillance video and they were able to do facial recognition. Then they saw the criminal history. So this is how they started to figure out who this was. They saw him leave that restaurant, got on a bus, and went up to Aurora, A-Town, got it on the light rail. So I mean, they kind of were able to follow him home with the surveillance cameras. And then basically, when they were investigating, Becerra's photo was given to like the superintendent of a construction site who didn't recognize him.
Okay.
And they didn't know why he was there. So they could place him kind of at the scene, but couldn't come up with a reason why he would be there. So we don't know why it burned down, but man, it's reminding me of, remember the fire in the bar when the gang members killed people at the bar? They robbed the bar and then they burned the bar down with the people inside. No. And so it was arson and murder and all the things, and it ended up being gang affiliated.
No, I don't know about this.
Yeah, this guy's it's giving that, you know. But you just have to wonder. Again, allegedly, he does not allegedly look old. He looks old.
Your statement. He's done some hard living.
My statement that he crawled out of the ground, did some hard living, and this is gang affiliated are purely my opinion and are not rooted in any kind of fact besides his factual 9-page criminal history, whatever.
Oh my gosh,
10-page criminal history. So there you have it. Allegedly, Tony Becerra may have had something to do with this arson.
AKA Psycho.
AKA Psycho, or XX, as his friends call him. His friends. We don't know who they are.
Did I ever tell you the time Press and I went camping? We were dating. And we got stuck. Preston's truck got stuck in this massive puddle. It was like,
oh no.
I don't know how we got so stuck, but we did. And it was really muddy because it had been raining. So anyway, this person comes to get us out.
Okay.
Super nice.
Yeah.
People. It's a couple. Looked like he did some hard living. and he's like, hey, how about we like camp together? This guy. And Preston's like, sure. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, my name is so-and-so, but all my friends call me Psycho. It's not the same guy.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How many well, there's lots of psychos out there, but how many people are
by Psycho? I don't know. At least 2. So he goes, I go by Psycho. And Preston gets in the car and I said, we are sure as hell not camping with that guy.
We don't camp with Psycho. We don't do it.
We've got to get. I was like, we're going to die. One of us is going to die.
I'm sure he's lovely and loves his mama and whatever else, but we're not going to camp by Psycho. Nope. No. So they actually have him on video filling something up at a gas station on Colfax in Aurora. And the object he had at the gas station, he had in the bag he carried both to and away from the building.
So he used gasoline.
There you have it. Something. He put gasoline in something, allegedly, and used it. So there you go. It is interesting how a lot of would-be arsonists actually get into fire science. Because you know what? First of all, I'm not interested in fire one, but I think it's terrifying. Lots of boys are interested in fire. I think it's fascinating. They love to build bonfires. It's cool. So that doesn't mean you're an arsonist. But it is interesting that some people, they've studied this actually. Some people are drawn to that for different reasons. Some are drawn into fire services to really help people, save people, whatever. Some are just real interested in fire.
Why? Like, I'm not interested in fire either.
So remember the woman I told you about, and I think this was the Hayman fire. But she said she was burning like old love letters or something from an ex. But she was a firefighter who started the fire and then found the fire, couldn't fight the fire, and then it burned, thousands of acres. So
Okay, I also have one more funny story for you.
I'm ready. I would love
It
a
has
funny
nothing
story.
to do with crimes. So, you see how my hair is up?
I do. You don't wear it up that much anymore.
No, but
It's cute.
I didn't. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So I don't wear it up very often, especially but I do wear it up more often when I leave it naturally curly, right?
Yes.
So I meet with one of my people today, and she's like, "Oh, did you not get much sleep again?"
This is why I put mascara on in the parking lot before I go in, and everybody's like, "Why are you doing your makeup in the parking lots?" Because if I don't, everyone thinks I'm sick, exhausted.
I looked exactly like this. I had makeup on.
No, you're beautiful. I don't know what she's talking about.
She's like, "Oh, did you not get much sleep?" And I was like, "No, I slept fine."
You're like, "This is me on a good day."
I was like, "I just have a lot of hair, and I didn't want to do it."
Golly.
Anyway, I had to tell you that because you've had a similar story in the past.
Oh, I have.
It was worse than mine. 10 times
Mine
worse.
declared war. We're fine now, though. We can
Good.
talk about it.
But I
it was like,
laughed because I was like, I don't look that bad.
did it feel great? No, it doesn't feel great. Can we normalize not commenting on women's appearances in particular?
And it was a woman.
No, I know. But then we literally
A man would never.
No.
None of my male clients would ever say a thing.
No.
Ever.
But we
And
did
if
just
they
say
did,
a man looked like he crawled out of the ground. So I'm a hypocrite. It's also
fine.
true, though.
It is very true. I mean, I'm the one who said we were born in the same year and we don't look the same.
You do. One of these things is not like the other. It's not the same. It's not the
We
same.
don't look the same age.
No. Karen Reed was on Good Morning America. That's another.
Oh,
I have.
how did
Did you see
that
this
go?
interview? She's just kind of putting her life back together. So his family's suing her, and then she and her attorney, they're all suing the court system out there and the police department, whatever. So who knows? She's gonna do a book. She sold the rights to her story to a Hollywood producer, but she hasn't seen $1 of income. So she's like broke. So anyway, that's my update about Karen Reed.
Okay.
Here's what we're gonna talk about. Remember when we talked about that pastor, JP?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I know this update.
Okay, girl, I went in and got specifics. So I know where he's
I don't know
right
specifics.
Yeah.
I just know a general overview.
Well, he's one of my least favorite people. And so
yeah, he's terrible.
They play the clip again that I have not seen since this happened. And you and I were like, what? When he got up in front of the church and said his whole thing.
After he did a whole sermon and then said, my wife died last night.
Well, yeah, no, I literally
psycho.
Preaches a sermon. And at the end is like, and y'all, we're just going to, take a minute. I got to make an announcement, blah, 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 blah. and I don't want you to talk about this as you're leaving the church. And literally, Natalie, it went all through me. I've heard that in 2 different church services when
Mm.
pastors had bad behavior twice. They announced to the church and then were like, don't talk on the way out. To
Mhm.
which I say, says who? Like, what? I don't know on what planet you think you get to tell me what to talk about after you just did what you just did, but cool. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
gossip, whatever. Great. Okay. It's a power and control move every time. And I'm like, I'm gonna go have coffee immediately and talk about what just happened. Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
Protect the wife and children probably and not talk about them a lot, but your ass, you're up for discussion. Thank you very much. You put yourself on the menu.
Yes.
So here's the thing.
You basically put yourself in front of the bus.
Yeah, and then tell me not to talk about it. Like, excuse
Mhm.
me, don't give me something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
How about that instead? Anyway, okay.
Mhm.
I don't feel bad one bit about talking about things like that the minute I walk out of that church.
Right.
Okay, so John Paul Miller, everybody's favorite pastor, was weird when his wife passed away April 27th, 2024. And like Nat said, the day after, this is how he announces it to the congregation. So what we found out at the time was that Micah Miller, his wife, who was 30 at the time, he was 44, 45-ish at the time. I don't know exactly when his birthday is. She was 30. That she died by suicide in Lumber River State Park, North Carolina. Right? And
Yep.
you and I were like immediate no. Like it's
Yep.
the husband, and everyone's up in arms online because of the way he talked about it in the church service, where he talked about how her death was self-induced. Remember that like sent you, the wording sent you because you're like, I've never heard anyone say that before.
No one says that.
Self-induced, and proceeded to talk about her mental health struggles in an unkind way. And he had been from the pulpit saying negative things about her for weeks leading
Yeah.
up to this.
Yeah.
He also had been served divorce papers 48 hours before Micah died. And so we had to wait a little bit for the final kind of investigation to happen and the final cause of death. And you and I talked about how this feels real suspicious. Real suspicious. He has something to do with this. This is not normal behavior. And I think everyone with a brain was thinking that, right?
Right.
Even John Paul knew it looked sus, right? Like, I mean, everybody
Right.
knew. So then police came out and said very clearly that this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Mm-hmm.
They had surveillance video of her at a pawn shop buying a firearm and ammo, and in Myrtle Beach, where they lived earlier that day. And so they were able to kind of figure out that she had purchased the gun, and she'd also called 911 herself before her death and said that she was suicidal. Here's where people would find her body.
Right.
And then that's where she was found. So when that happened, this case died down a fair bit because people are like, well, I mean, that's what happened. And he kind of, kept it moving or whatever, right? But the investigation has continued. And part of that is because there have been protesters, her family, her friends, no one has shut up about this. Why
Good.
would this woman file for divorce 48 hours before she killed herself? It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
A divorce implies you're going to live after the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Most often, most people
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
you could just kill yourself if you don't want to be in the marriage anymore and you're tired of living or you're mentally ill or whatever. She had an attorney that she was talking to. Allegedly, we know a few other things that people have come forward and said, which is that the sister came forward and said that, was it sister or brother? Sibling. I don't remember if it was sister or brother.
I think it was her sister.
Sister, that she had said, if I ever, have a bullet in the back of my head, it was John Paul, like has said things like that, which is part of why everybody assumed it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the update is we now know a lot more about what was going on leading up to her death. And he is now facing charges not for her death, but for the circumstances leading up to her death. And it is looking like he's going to be held accountable. And I'm holding this in contrast with other things that have happened in cases that are similar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to know what you think about this. There are reports of her contacting police, not just in the beginning when it was social media videos about abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Several weeks before she died, she'd posted videos about abuse and being able to leave a marriage when there's abuse and that kind of stuff. She had contacted police several times about being followed and harassed by John Paul
Mm-hmm.
and that she was in fear for her life. So that was official. He had also hired a private investigator to follow her.
Right. We knew
Yep.
about that.
And when police went in on him about this, like, why the hell were you following your wife who's now dead? He claimed it was for her own protection. He was worried about her, whatever, not to see if she was having an affair, but it was actually to see if she was having an affair. That's what he was monitoring her for.
Right.
The family has sued him, and there was a confidential settlement. That's already happened.
Mm.
So here's where the current case is, and then I want to talk about predominant aggressor stuff. So he has been indicted for federal cyber stalking charges and lying to investigators.
Dang.
Yep. So he's facing up to 7 years in prison and significant fines up to $250,000 if he is convicted.
Wow.
And he's already been indicted by a federal grand jury. So like this is happening. He has arraignment a couple of days ago.
Oh, dang.
Mm-hmm. And so this is marching forward. So when we look at things that happened, here's some of the allegations in the indictment. He harassed her for months, including posting a nude photo of her online without her consent. He called her over 50 times in one day. He
Wow.
put a tracker on her car.
Mm.
He would mess with her tires repeatedly. He had actually had a device that they found that he was using to sabotage her vehicle,
Mm.
which is stalking in the state of Colorado, but
Mhm.
so is the rest of it.
Mhm.
He interfered with her finances and then just repeated unwanted contact.
Mm.
And she had filed for divorce several times in the past too. So this is one of those, it's kind of like the Moscow murders where it just was kind of an itch in my brain until we knew more. This has been like
Right.
that for me because
Yeah.
it didn't all line up.
When
And
it went dark for a little bit.
it went dark, and we work with women who have pretty intense relationship issues, whether they're being aggressive or not. And
Mhm.
we also know that a suicidal person, when they're in a power and control dynamic, can also be a homicidal person or can act out aggressively. So, one of the things that I was thinking about with her, this is the type of situation where a woman might get caught up in a DV case
Mhm.
and not be the predominant aggressor.
Mhm.
Meaning, he gaslit her about her mental health, allegedly.
Mhm.
Now, had she been on lithium, maybe she alleges that he was the one pushing her to be on medication. He had her hospitalized a couple of times. And she alleges, in one thing that I read, she alleges that he started grooming her when she was 10 years old.
Mhm.
So I couldn't find all of the information, but I bet she was in his youth group or in the church
Yeah.
that he was in or something. And they
There
made
was
a connection.
there was information about that before too.
Yeah. So when you look at a situation like that, Nat, and you and I have talked about this, you can start to have reactive violence. You can have somebody pop up and go, I'm done with this.
Mhm.
I'm done with this. And I had a client once years and years ago whose husband had her convinced that she was crazy. Her ex-husband convinced. This was a sane woman. I worked with her for years, completely sane.
Mhm.
Terrified every single day, terrified she would be hospitalized. He had her hospitalized for mental health, eating disorders, all different things. None of it on record held up. It was complete breakdown and gaslighting. until people do start to show the signs of what they're being accused of. And I can't say whether or not she had bipolar, but
Right. Right.
it's pretty intense to have this hospitalization history. And
Mm-hmm.
she was kind of fighting for herself because she was afraid. So I guess my question for you, Nat, is how could someone who's trying to get out of an abusive marriage, particularly I'm talking about women, because I think this happens more often to women, how can they get caught up? What does it look like? And how does the judicial system and treatment kind of deal with that when it happens? So let's say they get together to talk about the fact that she filed and he's like, let's have coffee because we got to talk this through, right? We have
Right.
financial things to settle, whatever. And they get in a tussle in the parking lot or in the car or whatever. And a witness says she slapped him
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and cops roll up. That's the kind of situation we might get.
Right.
What do you do with that?
As an evaluator?
And just how does the system, how do we,
Oh,
deal with something like that when there's this kind of a history?
well, this gets into the Petito thing that we talked about. Um, I think it's identifying like what's actually going on. And we talked about this in our mini. Cops can't always do that.
How would they know? Now in this case, in Micah's case, there were reports that she had
Mhm.
made and she had posted on social media, which they may not have gotten immediately, but would have gotten later. But generally, if there's not a police report, there's no
Mhm.
way they would know all this
Mm-mm.
history.
Mm-mm. No. So I think it goes back to like what we talked about in our mini of like if there had been reports of all the things that he was doing, if they took it seriously, someone would have gotten arrested,
Hmm.
you know?
Well,
And
that should have been an arrest. The car thing, the
oh,
fear for her
100%.
life, the tracker,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
felony stalking in
Stalking.
Colorado.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wonder about that.
So I think, part of it is encouraging women to report things. But I think yeah, it's hard to determine. It goes back into like primary versus predominant.
Yes.
Like if she slaps him in the car and he's not necessarily doing anything in that moment,
Yes.
the cop's gonna maybe see like she's the primary in this situation,
Yes.
right? But backing up, he's the predominant aggressor. The crappy thing is the system doesn't always catch that. And they don't always have the best questions to ask to identify what's going on,
Yeah.
right? I would be curious, honestly, to have a police officer on at some point
Oh,
to
yeah.
ask some of the questions of like, how do you guys, because you and I know some about this, like how do you identify who's the primary aggressor in situations, but like,
I have it.
what do you mean?
Okay, so when I was reading up on this for our
Mm-hmm.
mini, what I found, and we didn't have time because we were recording between things. Here were some questions to ask to figure out who is the predominant aggressor. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is interesting to think about in light of a whole bunch of cases that we look at.
Mm-hmm.
Here are some questions to ask. Number one, have there been threats to kill, commit suicide, or take the children? Have arguments been laced with coercive and harmful profanities that demean the victim? That's something we actually score on the
Mm-hmm.
DVRNA.
Mm-hmm.
Are they calling each other names, stuff like that?
Right.
Have there been attempts to control one's movement, associations, or social interactions? Do the facts of the case imply that one is motivated out of the need for dominant attention?
Mm.
Which dominant attention is very interesting to me because that gets into some of the pregnancy stuff and men being jealous sometimes when their partner's pregnant. Is the relationship dominated by jealousy and control? Have attempts to separate been met with an increased severity of violence? So those are some of the questions.
Yeah.
But then they go a step further on this site that I'm looking at. Have officers considered the size of both parties? And we know that men and women, even if they're the same size, men have more physical strength than women, even all things equal.
Mm-hmm.
But do you look at age, height, weight, size, size, all those things? Criminal history. Have either been on domestic violence probation before?
Mm-hmm.
Corroboration with evidence, the presence of fear,
Mm-hmm.
use of alcohol or drugs, who called 911. Our guys are always like, whoever calls 911, the other person goes to jail. It's like, no, 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 no. But that is one thing they should look at is who called 911.
Yeah. Yeah.
The role of the timing of the arrest, the
Mm-hmm.
demeanor of the parties, protection orders, consistency or inconsistency in the statements. And this is tricky because victim statements can be inconsistent as well for
Mm-hmm.
a million reasons. Who's trying to avoid punishment? Who's trying to stop violence?
Mm-hmm.
Who has motive to lie or retaliate? What led up to the fight or the violent episode? Who's the most likely to inflict injury? Who's least likely to be afraid? Does either of them show propensity for violence? Who has access to or control of resources, like financial resources? And have there been threats to other family members or pets? So those are great things to consider.
Yep.
In this
Yeah.
case, this man in Colorado, if she called the police and said, I found a tracker on my car, we hope
Felony.
the police would have gotten involved. And if they found evidence of that, which could be a transaction in the bank, credit card that shows buying it or whatever, if they found evidence of that, that's a stalking charge in Colorado, which is typically a felony. If that happens, she can leave.
Yeah.
It opens the door to leave. It would have validated her narrative. It would have protected her. When I hear someone from the pulpit say this kind of crap, churches are kind of fish bowls, like especially the pastor's family. You're trying to keep things together and make things work. And particularly with her being significantly younger and having been maybe in his ministry when she was young,
Mm-hmm.
she was just under a ton of pressure. And this is where an arrest might give a victim what she needs to leave, to
Yeah.
really leave.
Yeah.
And so we'll never know really why she killed herself, but
I think, no, we won't know, but I think he made her life really, really hard.
really hard.
My guess is even though she was filing, I wonder if there's if she got to a point where she just felt like it was all too overwhelming. And if she had filed before, like, why didn't it work? You know what I mean? Like, what stopped her from continuing to go through with it in the times before? And so
Yep.
she probably felt super stuck.
Yeah, I get that sense. I get the sense. And I read some stuff online, and who knows if this stuff is true or not.
Yeah.
But there were a couple Facebook posts from people who claim to have attended the church and some of the things he said from the pulpit. And you know how pastors, and I listen, this is not my favorite thing about pastors, but they always feel like they need to tell a story.
I know.
And my pastor friend, I love so much because he makes me giggle when he talks about this. He talks about how you don't need to you don't need to make up an anecdote to fit everything you're teaching. Because sometimes we're just really reaching and it's annoying. And sometimes it's helpful and relatable. And I think in this case, by several different reports, he had been talking a little bit negatively about his wife and in-laws. He'd made some comments even about the family and stuff. So when someone's targeting you on all sides,
Like, what else are you supposed to do?
no.
You
And I've seen pastors do this crap. And this is why I would say, if you are someone who goes to church, I don't care if it's Catholic church, whatever, do you, wherever you go, if the pastor or the priest or the bishop or the whoever it is talking in a way that would indicate that this kind of crap might be going on at home, I would love it if you would just on our behalf even and send us a message. I would appreciate it so much. Go talk to the pastor. They love to talk to their people after. They assume you're going to tell them how amazing they are. Ask them what the hell they're doing. Just ask them. Really, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Bonus points if you don't know him for nothing. If you don't know his wife, you don't know his
Right.
kids, you don't know anybody, just go up and be like, that's highly concerning the way you said that. I don't know if you're aware
Yeah. Well, and
of what you just said.
you and I've heard of churches who say concerning things and then won't actually allow people to come talk to them about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
that's a
so,
fight I'll show up to, though.
no, I know. I wish I could use names, but I can't.
Mm-mm.
But
Well, and the
yeah.
bigger the church, the more scared I get, to be frank. I just want to be honest about that
Oh,
because
yeah. That
the
makes sense.
more resources they have, the more they can protect their insane behavior. And
Yep.
there are a lot of wonderful pastors in the world, but there's a lot of sickness too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take a power and control dynamic that's overwhelming in a home
Mm-hmm.
and you put it on a stage and people are giving money to it and expecting you to be perfect, and that's your role is to be a perfect part of the system. It's awful.
Right.
It's awful.
Yep.
And so it just makes me sad. And I think we need to protect people in the church. So when we have pastors behaving badly, we need to check them.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's my takeaway, please. And then tell me the story. It'll make my whole day if you tell me. You can be kind. You don't have to call them names. You don't have to be super
Oh,
aggressive, but just go up and be like, sir, that
what?
really didn't sound good. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Right.
I don't know that that's, I'm not a prestigious scholar like you, but that doesn't sound like what I know
Right.
is how we're supposed to talk about our families and our wives.
Or
The
a
other thing
congregant.
too is I will say this, and I'm gonna try to camouflage it the best I can, but
Mm.
I do know of a couple of situations where like a youth pastor falls in love with someone in the youth group, and maybe they're like 24 and 17, or something like that, and it's like maybe they don't date till they turn 18, but it's still a pretty inappropriate thing. And sometimes those relationships work out and sometimes they don't. But man, we have to be aware as parents, and I think as people in the community, that dropping your kid off at the church is not necessarily the safest place to put them. You have to still pay attention just like you would anywhere else,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't it be great, Nat, if the people who listen, and I know that I live this way more every day. In my 80s, I'm going to be an absolute menace because I'm just not going to care about
The
how
best way
things
to
are
be.
received. It's the best way to be. And I hope I'm the woman who like takes her walker up to some public speaker and it's like, that was highly misogynistic and unkind. Like, you need to check yourself. Whatever. I want to fight for this for my entire life because it matters so, 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 so much. And even the men that we work with, they don't always feel this way about all women. Maybe they grew up with it and they saw their father and their mother and how they interacted. And so that's normal to them. But then they
Right.
can be very kind and respectful to us. So sometimes people don't realize how they're talking about their partner because it just feels normal to
Yeah.
them.
About their partner or to their partner.
To or about.
We've actually seen that. We've worked with people who have said, "Oh, my boss was a female and she was like the baddest bee
Mm.
ever. Like she was a boss and
Oh,
I
yeah.
respected her." But then it's like there was no translation to that respect to their partner.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Or the other thing is they're typically very protective of us. They pay attention to what's going on. Not always. We've had guys who are not safe, but most of them are very safe. And if anything, they're kind of keeping an eye out and they keep an eye on what's going on in the room. And I feel like many of them would be very protective. But then in their own homes, they can be the one creating the fear.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does take an outside person to say something. And
Mm-hmm.
I do not think you should go get in the middle of a fight in a Walmart between a husband and wife. But if a pastor gets up on that stage and says something insane, please check him. And this guy was doing that stuff. And
Yeah.
you know who's watching? A lot of times it's the wife and the kids.
Yeah.
you know, and not to mention all the other men who are watching this too.
Mhm.
That's who's that pastor that I just cannot Mars Hill, Mark Driscoll.
Oh, Mark Driscoll. Yeah, he's rough.
This guy had a lot of Mark Driscollisms,
Mm.
particularly around sex, the way he talked around about sex and needs. And I went down the wormhole of like programs for some of his like weekend
Mm-hmm.
marriage retreat things. And by the way, y'all, Nat and I are going to be doing a workshop on like actually
Oh, yeah.
in a good relationship based
Yep.
on research that's real positive and great. Please
Yep.
come to that instead
Yes.
of something like this. Do your
Come
church
join
thing,
us.
that's great. But if the church thing says something like, make sure all sexual needs are met, if that's like a bullet point in the pamphlet that you get, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Maybe
Mm.
don't go to that. And if you're a man listening, just do better.
Yes.
We love you. Just be better.
Just be nice to your spouse and your kids, and
Just be a good man
know,
in the world. We need good men in the world.
it's not that hard.
We had a man message us.
Mm.
Who
Oh, this guy was so nice.
this was and this is a
He's like in the
burly-
bodybuilding community too.
He's in the bodybuilding community. Burly. I don't know if he wants to say us to say his name. I'll have to check in with him, but he's just a gigantic human who I would not expect to enjoy us necessarily doing our true crimey thing. He
Right.
sent us the kindest, most empowering message about the work that we're doing, and I appreciated it so much. And it's just a reminder, like there's so many good men in the world, but I don't think that men always know that they can step up and say something. I think women are more likely to say something. A man
Mhm.
might punch somebody in the face if they're a physical threat, but like
Right.
here I am saying, go up and check a pastor. I wish the men would do it. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of the most powerful groups we've run, and I remember one in particular, and you were like slowly dying next to me because I was on one that night, but I said, I'm so sad that it took a woman to have this conversation tonight. I'm disappointed that a woman had to be the one to say this
Mm-hmm.
to you guys, that not one of you pushed back on this but us. It was a
I think
weird
I
night
was
that
slowly dying.
you were slowly dying, but not everyone was problematic in the group or anything. It's just nobody said anything. And so a woman in the room had to. And I would just love to see men go up to the pastor after church and be like, that wasn't super respectful about women. Or, hey, I think you should maybe check in with your wife because the way you talked about that, I don't know that you're really talking to her about these things that are going on or whatever.
Yeah.
Could make a difference. And she may have taken her life because she genuinely was having a mental health crisis. That's possible. Maybe she was off her lithium for 3 months, like he accused her of.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
But she didn't feel like, from everything I've seen, she did not feel like she could leave.
Mm-mm. She felt
Even
stuck.
with the divorce, she felt stuck. And there's enough evidence for him to have been indicted on cyber stalking and just harassing her and abusing her.
I mean, a tracker on her car, it's felony
Mm-mm.
in Colorado.
Mm-mm. So that's my update on that. And
yeah, thank you for that one. I had been thinking about that case because it did pop back up in the media, and I was like, oh, I need to look into this. So I appreciate you sharing it.
Thank you. And we'll see y'all next week, as always.
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.